Hello guys, my name's Jake and this is my first ever YouTube video. Today you join me on the bankside at St John's Lake. I've got here about 4 o'clock, so about 4 hours ago now, and I've only just set up about half an hour ago. The reason for that is because I wanted to do a good few laps around the lake before I actually decided where I was going to set up. The lake's been a bit finicky over the last week, but there's a few fish being caught around the lake now. But after having a good walk around, the people opposite me have had a few fish, so I'm very confident in a bite. Speaking to one of my good friends, I've not actually had to do much leading about, luckily, because it's very weedy out here. So after messaging one of my friends, I've been given a spot and just checking back over it, it's really nice and clear, especially considering there's a bunch of weed out there. So my left-hander, which you'll see in a minute, is on the choddy, which is just on some leg core, just in case, just off the side of the spot, just to see if I can pick up some bigger fish. And then I have two solid bags to the right of that, which are more on the spot. But because I'm only doing an overnighter today, I've just decided to put solid bags out because I'm just trying to nick a bite, and I've had quite a busy year so far of fishing, so just to hear that alarm go off with some nice St John's carp, just 3 or 4 fish would do me just nicely. But I'm very confident for a bite or two, and hopefully next time you see me I'll be with a fish. Right then, after about 4 hours of getting the rods out, we have our first St John's carp to slip up. Just try, and then we're picking up, so we have our first St John's carp. This fish came in at 28 pounds and 2 ounces, and it fell to literally 2 bleeps on the alarm. I picked up into it and it got straight in the weed as soon as I picked up the rod. But after 10 minutes of constant pulling, walking back, nice steady pressure, we have this beautiful 28 pound St John's carp to show for it. Happy days. The rod's already back out, so now hopefully it'll go off pretty soon again. But in the meantime, I'm well happy with this. What a fish. But yeah, happy days. Just a little bit about me. Again, like I said, my name's Jake. I've recently been selected for the England under-22s team, so I like to think I know what I'm doing sometimes. I'm a very laid-back person, like to think I'm quite funny sometimes. I'm not expecting to get loads of people, but I've taken a year out from school, and with a year to do a lot of fishing, hopefully, we should see some nice fish on the bank. So I'd really like to document my angling. It's something I've always wanted to do. I'm quite nervous in front of the camera. It's a lot harder than it looks, but we're doing it and we're out here, and I've decided to pick up the camera today just to give it a good old go. I fished the England under-22s, got selected this year. We'll be heading out to Latvia from the 27th of June. I also tutor at the junior carp camp at Horseshoe Lake. That is really good, it's really fun being a junior there myself and then being set to be a tutor. Absolutely mega event. Really gets the younger anglers into the sport and shows them how to do it properly and safely. BCAC, so me and my new teammate Sam, we have recently been entered into the BCAC, and we had a qualifier at Boston about a month ago now. Absolutely hectic. We had about 160 fish and I think it was 1,350 pounds of carp over the 48 hours. So we won our section, so we're off the Turners Lake, which I won't be documenting because it's a bit more serious, and I won't have time to pick up the camera every now and then. But on my normal sessions, syndicate sessions, I'm on a new syndicate this year, so I'll be documenting that as well, hopefully. But I'm just looking forward to, documenting my angling as the year goes on, just seeing where I end up. Mostly around my syndicate, but every now and then we'll get a session down on linear just to get a few fish if I'm struggling on the syndicate. skillful. Right then guys, after waking up at 1:30 to that first fish, I stayed up till about 6 because I thought there's no point in going back to bed when I can just stay up and look for show-in fish. And I repositioned my choddy that was to the left of the swim to some show-in fish that I saw to the right, and 3 hours later, like clockwork, this fish woke me up absolutely ripping off and coming in at a very, very respectable 30 pounds. I'm absolutely made up with this one. I'm over the moon. Second fish so far. Hopefully we can get a third, potentially a fourth. There's still some fish out there. The rod's gone straight back out there. So hopefully we can manage 1 or 2 more of these St. John's carp. But yeah, like I said, on a choddy, absolutely nailed in the bottom lip. Absolutely made over the moon with this one. What a fish. What a fish. Happy days. On this session, you joined me back down at St. John's. I did Saturday to Sunday. Had 5 bites, landed 3 fish at 30 pound. Then I went home, came back the next day, did a night on my syndicate, wasn't so lucky on there. So I've come back down on St. John's for a little bit. So far it's going quite well. I've had 1 move, 3 bites, landed 1, so not too good, but there's a lot of weed in front of this peg, so I'll take 1 fish so far. Should be a little bit less than that. I should have landed more, however, there's not much you can do if your fish gets in a weed bed and it just, snaps you off. There's not much you can do, so I'm not going to sit here and strop about it. It is what it is, it's fishing. We know it's a possibility that it could happen every time we come down. So far, landed 1 fish this morning, got 1 more night. I'm going to treat these last 2 sessions as a joint because I was only 1 night out and I actually ended up back in the same peg on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, once I'd finished a night on my syndicate. So far, I've seen a few show. There's a lot just down there in the corner. However, they did push back up here towards the afternoon. So hopefully, as the day goes on, we'll see them drift more towards this way. But yeah, updates will come as and when. Hopefully, we land a fish. Right then guys, after not doing so well in a peg the other side of the lake, after seeing fish there yesterday, I thought it'd be good for a chance or 2. However, the fish pushed down into the bowl. But after a quick move into the left hand point, we have been nicely rewarded this morning about 4 o'clock with this absolute belter of a 29.5 pound St. John's mirror. What a fish that is. Happy days. Look at the apple slice scales on that thing. But yeah, this fish fell to a solid bag. A bit closer in than my original spot actually. Depending on how it goes today, if I get any more on that spot, I think I'll end up changing 2, maybe 3 to this one spot because the spot's big enough to be fair. But what a fish that is. Yeah, buzzing. Show you the other side, get some snaps, then we'll put her back. Happy days. There we go. What a fish from St. John's. Absolute belter. Coming at £29 as well, after spawning. good average. But yeah, hopefully a few more, head till tomorrow morning, so hopefully there's a chance of 1 or 2 more. But yeah, what a fish. Right then, it's time to let my first fish and this beautiful St. John's carp go. There she goes. Beautiful. Happy days. Now the action's calmed down a little bit, I'm going to run you through my rig and just what I'm doing genuinely on the session. So I started off down in peg 20, which is down in the shallower end of the lake. I went there because I was there on Saturday and did quite well. I ended up having 5 bites, landed 3. So I was quite confident down there. However, spending a night down there, the fish had sort of moved down into the bowl, definitely. So after going for a walk around the lake and finding out someone was leaving that afternoon, I packed up all my stuff and came down there. So I found 2 spots, 1 short, 1 long, just for tonight, and also because I've never really fished this peg before. Oh, bosh, just there. Sorry, getting distracted. Like I said, there's a lot of fish down there. So after finding 1 spot short and 1 long, and then I also put 1 on a zig last night at 3:30 this morning. My left hander ripped off on the long spot. By the time I got to the rod, it had done me. So I'm not really sure what happened there, we'll never know. However, about 30 minutes after that, my right hander ripped off and I landed that one. And that was the fish you saw earlier with that 29.5 pound mirror. Really nice fish. So I'm just going to run you through the rig that I'm using. So this rig consists of, see if I can get to focus, there we go. Consists of a long shank hook, a nice decent bit of shrink tubing at the top with a nice angle, and then micro ring swivel down to a hook bead just that's in line with the barb. I've sort of fine-tuned this rig over the last 2 years. Solid bags played a big part in my angling. It's pretty much all I tend to use, whether that's just showing fish, whether it's over bait. It's just that perfect parcel of bait. And we're fishing a lot of matches and competitions. They're just ideal to pre-tie, prep. But yeah, so as you can see, it's got really good turning capabilities. Barely pull it and it already digs in. Most rigs normally come to about here before they dig in. This one digs into the flat part of my palm, so that's why I like the long shank hook, because of that long shank. It gives it a lot more room to catch on. The fish that I caught yesterday absolutely nailed dead center in the bottom lip. I forgot to take a picture or video that part, so you have to take my word for it. However, it was nailed, and getting it through that weed. There's a lot of weed out here at the minute. I had to walk to the top of my peg to land the fish. When a rig has such good hooking capabilities, especially when fishing in weedy lakes like this, gives you a much better chance of bringing in the fish. That's also why I like fishing solid bags. The inline leads, although they don't drop off, or you can have them drop off, although I don't fish them drop off, they don't get caught up in the weed nearly as easy as a lead clip system. So that's one more benefit of doing this. But yeah, that's my solid bag rig. And in a minute, I'll run you through what bait I'm using. Now we're coming into summer, we start giving the carp a bit more bait. I'm going to show you what mix I've been using on this session, and also my last session before this as well. So, starting off the mix, I won't sit here and do this now because I forgot my crusher. However, I'm going to start off the mix with roughly about 2 to 3 handfuls of crushed essential cell. I like using this bait, especially down places that are fed on corn, sort of pellet, sort of that sort of vibe. It's crumbly, light mulch pellet, break it up on the bottom, it's bright yellow, looks just like sweet corn, holds more traction. Crumb, keeps the fish there, simple as that. So I'm not going to sit here and do that and bore you. However, good bit of crumb, then good sized handful of normal essential cell. I'm not going to fill up the bucket because I'm only here till tomorrow morning. Then we are going to grab some essential cell pellet. We'll go 2 handfuls of that, like that, and give that a good old mix. There we go. Lovely. Then let's rub my hands off because there's already some mix in there. Then we're going to grab some Central Cell stick mix, put a good bit of that in. Like a lot of liquids in the summer, contain a lot of proteins and a lot of attraction for the carp. Then some smart liquid. I like to use the stick mix because it helps loosen up the smart liquid, gives it that nice cloud, so a good bit of that. Then give it another mix. Now that's all mixed up, I'm going to grab a tin of sweet corn. Am I going to be able to do this with my nails? I might need some help. Now there we go. Just a singular tin of sweet corn. It's cheap and the carp absolutely love it. Give that another mix. And there we go. Literally as simple as that. 4 different items. Got, well, 4 different bait items and then 2 liquids. Got corn, whole boilie, crushed boilie, pellet. Happy days. But yeah, that's my mix. I'll show you in a minute what that looks like. This is what the mix ends up looking like. Got a good bit of pellet, a good bit of corn, and then in a minute I'll put some more crumb in there, but you can still see the crumb. But yeah, on the bottom, spread out, nice attraction, holds a bunch of liquids, and I've got some nice different sizes in there. Beautiful, get some of that out now. It's time to get a little bit of bait out. Fishing 24 3/4 wraps, that is, and time to just get not too much, but enough just to see if we can get them interested. So gonna get a few more out and then we'll see what happens. One more, like I said, not going to put too much out because I've already put out this morning. It's just now I'm seeing a few fish showing, but nothing's happening. Potentially, the noise of the spot hitting the water might just contribute to a feeding response. Right then guys, so in that net just behind you, which you can't see, I have a nice St. John's carp. Looks to be a much better one. I'd say definitely a 30, but truth be told, when I weigh it, could be spawned out, but it looks like a nice fish, nice long deep, single scale on its side, I'm pretty sure, so it's a nice fish. But rods are back out, like I said, had the fish about 10 minutes ago. So I will literally cut this camera, weigh the fish, and then I'll show you guys. But yeah, I think that could end up being the last fish. Never say never, because we still have 4 hours until I've got to go. There's a booking on the lake, which means I've got to be off at 8. But, well, 9, but 8 to be safe. But yeah, so a bit of a summary of the session, if I'm not to have any more fish. 2 carp landed on this session. Should have been more. I think I lost 3 or 4. However, that weed out there is not great. There's a big weed bed in front of which meant one of the bites I had was on the sig. Of course, long hook length. First thing it did was get in that weed and cut me off. So, lost fishing. There's not much you can do about it other than just keep going. And perseverance is really shown on this session, because I haven't weighed that one yet, but the average so far pretty good. 29.5 yesterday morning, and looks like in there this morning got potentially a bigger fish. So over the last few days, doing on and off sessions down here. I've done 2 sessions down St John's over the last week, just sort of like spread out. I think I've ended up on 5 or 6 carp, and I think the average has probably got to be something stupid like 28, 29 pound, which is a really good average to be fair, especially post spawn. But yeah, get that fish out because I'm waffling now. Chuck some water over it, chuck some water over the sling. Fish care is really important. And then we'll just hold it up for you guys so you can have a look at that beautiful St John's carp. And then, definitely a nicer fish, guys. Can't wait to show you guys this one. Absolute belter of a St John's carp. Like I said, it's got that single scale on it as well. That could go quite big. If I can lift it. Oh my god, Jesus Christ, that's what that'll do. 34.5 pound. Happy days, guys. Missed the muscles here, one-handed. Ooh. There we go. This is the sling that has that 34 pounder in it. Let's have a look. Absolute cracking carp. Really, really shows what St John's is all about. Absolute belter of a fish. Just move that there. I need to see what I'm doing. There's the tail. Right, like I said, I think this is going to end up being the last fish of the session. So, if I don't see you guys again with another fish, for those of you that have made it this far, I would like to say a massive thank you for watching this video. It's much appreciated, especially considering it's my first ever video. Yeah, thank you very much. Hopefully I can bring you more videos with some cracking carp like this. But yeah, not going to force you guys to, but if you do fancy it, don't forget to like and subscribe. That sounds weird to say, but yeah, I'll show you the other side. But look at the state of that immaculate 34 pound St John's carp. What a carp. And on the last morning as well, extra rewarding. Let's turn around. This side's a bit plain, but all sides deserve to be shown. There you go. It's got a little mark on its side, so I'll get some fish care and put on that in a minute. It's also got a little cut on its lip, so we'll sort that out. Make sure these fish stay good looking. But yeah, so there we go. There's this side of the 34 pound St John's carp. What a cracking fish. Yeah, happy days. What a carp. I'm waiting for him to just cruise off. I think he's stuck in the net. There we go. Here he goes. There he swims. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.